So I wrote a book, and it's not about me in the book, it's about Jennifer and Bill, because what they did for me. So I want to thank Jennifer and I want to thank Bill for being the impetus and the genesis behind this being developed. So I gave you guys both autographed copies. So thank you for being the inspiration for me to change up something that I think is going to be valuable. So it also changed the whole presentation. So it used to be talked about, it's called Finding Your It. You will have a piece of that in here, but this is about simplicity and hopefully add some meaning to your life as we go forward today. So we're talking about goals, we're talking about accomplishments, we're going to talk about a lot of different things, faith, belief, 5 basic rules in life that I think are pretty good rules in life. So with 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, we're going to have a control exercise. Then we're going to take a little break if we want to. We're going to talk about dreams, goals, faith, belief, finding your it, the 3F exercise, and it's okay, and wrap it up. So let's talk about goals for a second. So back when I was a young man, I had a desire to be on the Harlem Globetrotters, right? Thought I was a good basketball player and I was doing all the tricks and I could do all the spins, moves, and all that kind of stuff. So I went, it wasn't necessarily a tryout because there was no tryout announced back in the 80s, right? So you just showed up in the gym and you had somebody who may have known somebody, So I get there, I said, what are you here for? And I tell them. Before I got there, I was diagnosed with LOT, which will come up in a second. So now as we're going through this gentleman goes, I don't know. He goes, you have LOT, don't you? I said, yeah. I said, you know what LOT stands for? You know what LOT stands for? Lack of talent. I did have no talent, right? So that was a big mind blower. He goes, I think you'll be a pretty good coach. So I went on to coach different levels, and I coached Salem Girls High School basketball for a period of time. So that was a good experience for me. So that was, when we get to this, we'll talk about your goals and your reality and your capabilities, right? So today, at the end, I hope to identify and eliminate some sources of stress in your life, adopt a simplified mindset and a lifestyle, cultivate a positive habits and attitudes, nurture your physical and mental and emotional well-being, strengthen your relationships and connections, pursue your passions and your purpose, and live with gratitude and generosity. So as I was going through this, I was reflecting back on some of the things that I had to make some changes on. And with some of the changes I went through in my lifetime where I had some difficulties in my life that I had to overcome. So I had to reinvent me. And to reinvent me, I had to get happy with myself. There was a lot of things that I needed to go do. And I'm going to show you some of these here. So these are the 5 pretty good rules in life. First one is making peace with your past. What others think of you is not your business. You control what you can control. You can't solve world hunger. You don't need to know all the answers. And you are in charge of your happiness. Okay, making peace with your past. As you can see, the past can be a source of pain, regret, and shame. As human beings, we make mistakes from time to time. Making peace with your past is about practicing forgiveness. This does not mean you have to forget what happened. So a lot of people get hung up on just because I forgive that I have to do away with that lesson. That's not true. That lesson stays with you. That means you're letting go of what's holding you back. Sometimes people use it as fuel. Some people use it as anger. I choose to use it as fuel. Whatever I was, people I had to forgive, I forgave, but I'm not going to make that mistake again. This does not mean ignore the pain or trauma that you went through. Look at the lesson and grow. In the opportunity of personal growth, be aware of your triggers. I had a lot of them. Didn't know I had a lot of them, right? Growing up the youngest of 7 in a highly competitive family, like arguing was a sport. It was a requirement, right? Fighting at the dinner table was required. So you thought that was norm. That was my norm. And when I got out in the real world, that was not the norm, right? People just saw me as this knucklehead, right? There are other words they chose to use, but I'll leave it at knucklehead. So I had to figure out what my triggers were, recognize them, and then when they flared up, suppress them, knock them down. There are some psychologists out there called it your shadow. Your shadow is what your dark side of you that you need as you grow. When you're younger, you demonstrate them. As you get older, you tend to push them down. I had to learn to push them down. So I had to learn how to respond and not to react. What others think of you is not your business. Man, this is a big one, especially with the young folks today. And I would say even with people who are on the internet or whatever their choice of people they have around them, right? It's difficult not worrying about what others think of you, especially people who are in business, because you're trying to grow your business. You're trying to put yourself out there as a positive force. But on the same token, you know, some people want to criticize you just because they're going to criticize you. You have to learn how to recognize that. embrace your self-acceptance, our worth and our value are not dependent upon external validation. Again, that is a tremendous lesson to learn and constantly reinforcing yourself. Focus on your values and beliefs. Stop conforming to others' expectations. Identify what is important to you. We're going to get through this today. I would hope I'm going to leave you some lessons on how to identify what is important to you and how to build your plan around it and how to keep it focused in front of you and how to achieve it. Practice self-compassion and self-love. Now, the first time I said this to somebody, they just looked at me like I was three heads. I'm like, there's absolutely no way you can have a positive relationship with someone else unless you can accept yourself and love yourself and be patient with yourself. Because if you can't do that, you're not going to demonstrate that to somebody else. You may think you are, and you may have barriers, and you may have things in place that prop you up. But I'm telling you right here, that's critical. Treat yourself with kindness and understanding. You probably say more negative things to yourself than you would say to other people. Guaranteed, you wake up in the morning, you're looking at whatever you're looking at, you're eating whatever you're eating, you're thinking about yourself. It's just negative talk. Guaranteed, you wouldn't say it to anybody else. What I'm telling you, flip it. Flip it tomorrow morning. Wake up, give yourself positive talk. You are in business, you're driving a business, you're here for a purpose, and support yourself. Be okay with yourself. Recognize the challenge of negative talk. We speak to ourselves and we never speak to each other. Be okay with yourself is crucial to our well-being and success in life. Rule number 3. This is my mother's rule. Well, basically keep your mouth shut about your personal life, your business life, and what your next move is. People don't understand, especially people who are in business, what your next move is. If you go out talking to somebody about what your next move is, and they don't understand it, they're not going to accept you. They're going to mock you. They're just going to be negative response to it. So keep it to yourself. Surround yourself around people who are positive and share it with them. Don't try to impress somebody with what your accomplishments are if they're not ready to accept it, because it's not going to go over well. Your personal life, keep it to yourself. They don't need to know what you and your favorite person in your world did last night. They don't need to know what you did for dinner. They don't need to know. Okay? And how much you make and what you invest, that is yours. Because if they find out you don't have enough, they don't want to be around you. If they have too much, they want some of it. Keep it to yourself. Again, when you surround yourself, you're going to have to trust some people, because especially in business, you have to share that information sometime. But make sure you're choosing the right people to share it with. Control your daily habits, make small changes in your daily routine. Right? Again, back to that, you have to understand your daily routine is going to be observed by others. And just make sure that it's on track and is on purpose. You control how you spend your time. Time is a precious resource, and we must use it wisely. We control how you respond to life. Setbacks will happen. Life can be tough. Treat discouragement, events, and lessons. Learn from them and use them as opportunities to grow. And I think it's a repeat of a slide, but we're going to continue. All right. You don't need to know all the answers. So in my world, every 5 years, I took on a new challenge. And I recognized that about a year ago. My kids were asking me, how did I get into the business I'm in? And I never got the job I interviewed for. Never. I always got the second job that someone else needed me to go fill. So when I just got it in my head that I'm not going to get the job, even though I'm the qualified. I have all the skills. I have the mindset. I can do it. For some reason, I wasn't selected. But that was okay with me. So every 5 years, I was doing something different. And this is what taught me I don't have to know all the answers. I started out in computer technology when I came out of school. So I was doing hardware, no software. I was making okay money, but then it wasn't taking me where I wanted to go. So I ended up going down to PSC&G, driving forklifts. Then someone challenged me on, I went into this field that's called radiation protection. And somebody said to me, you're not smart enough to be an RP tech. Like, okay, I will be tomorrow. So I found out where there was a course was, and I took the course. I passed the test, and I did 25 years. I ended up being the manager of that department at the end of my career. So I went from being a lowly, don't know nothing, to the radiation protection manager. With that, I went and did other things in the world that I had no clue what I was doing. I was asked to run a crew of taking turbines apart. The only thing I knew about turbines is they spun. But I knew enough to go get the right people. And I knew enough to get them the resources they needed, and I knew enough to let them go do their job. So we live in a world that values knowledge and expertise. It's not necessary to all the answers. Recognize that knowledge is consistently evolving. Approach a new information with curiosity and a desire to learn. That was one of my downfalls, because I thought I needed to know all the answers, because then my ego got in the way, and if my ego didn't get in the way, then my anger got in the way. If my anger got in the way, then frustration got in the way. And that came through in spades with people. Once I recognized I don't need to know any answers, need to know everything, I just need to know the right person to go to. No one person can know everything. Work with others who have different perspectives and expertise. Collaboration can lead to more creative solutions and better outcomes. So I have around all my staff, I probably have the most diverse staff that I've ever had in my lifetime. I have people that are from Ecuador who are single mothers who came through, who are now running my asbestos team. I have people from Alabama who I never thought I would even talk to somebody from Alabama running my mechanical team. I got people from France running my electrical team. So now imagine sitting down with people from Ecuador, people from France, people from Alabama. And most of the time, the people who come from out of the country go, how many languages do you know? Because they know 3 or 4. I know 2. South Jersey and English. That's what I know. Then I threw the Alabama guys in front of there, and man, God, that's a whole nother story. Right? But when you have different perspectives from different people, you have better collaboration, you have better solutions. Managing stress by not having all the answers. This is the one with the managers that I do training with and coaching with. Their stress is through the roof because they think they got to be on top of everything. They got to learn how to delegate and trust and set up your markers, set up your measurements, set up what you're going to monitor and how you're going to control and adjust it. It's called measure, monitor, adjust, and control. How are you going to measure it? How are you going to monitor it? How are you going to adjust it and control it? You're allowed to make adjustments, and you're allowed to control the situation. Uncertainty can provide an opportunity for growth and learning. I know it's a repeat, but the uncertainty that you have in your mind, push through it. Whatever your doubts are, write them down and answer those doubts. Most people don't write them down because they think it's a waste of time. I'm telling you, once you start writing something down and put it in front of you, and your mind is trained that once you ask the question, it has to be answered. You will not rest. Guaranteed. You can look at any study. Most of the things that come up when you write down the question about what's going on in your world, you have to answer it. There's just no way you cannot. My favorite. This is absolutely my favorite. You are in control of your happiness. People ask me, how do I wake up happy every day? I go, I choose to. If I'm not there when I wake up, I find I love music, Motown, I crank it up, and I just go make my breakfast, I work out, and I just put my music on and I go. Happiness is a fundamental aspect of well-being. It is something that we all strive for. Many people believe that happiness is something that's outside of their control. Get over that. If that's you, get over it. You are in charge of your happiness. And if you have people stealing your happiness, you're allowing them. And if you're allowing them, you either got to look at yourself or you got to look at them. And then you got to decide if you want them in your world. And it's okay not to have them in your world or your world. It's okay. That doesn't mean you're a bad person or they're a bad person. It just means you're stealing my happiness. I don't want you in my world anymore. That doesn't mean you're rude. Doesn't mean you're, saying bad things about them. You oversee your happiness. Taking charge of your happiness is focusing on the present moment. Looking in the past and looking too far out front creates stress. Deal with what's going on in front of you. Prepare for the future. Learn from the past, but apply it to the present. That's the only way you're going to maintain your happiness. If you look so far out, it becomes overwhelming. You cannot worry about what 5 years brings out. You want to prepare for that, but you got to deal with what's present. So I tell my kids are 35 and 33, and we get into decision making. And I said, decision making to me, you have to boil it down to a couple things. And these are critical decisions. Does it affect your happiness? Does it affect your finance? And what's the impact 3 or 4 years from now? I mean, why stress over it? If this has minimal impact for you 3 or 4 years from now, just flip the coin, go do it. But if it has a serious impact, like your strategy for investment or strategy for your IRAs or strategy for building your business, that's a little different. But whether you buy a Tesla or an Audi, make the call. Don't stress over it. Happiness is a choice. We can choose to focus on the positive aspects of our lives, practice gratitude, and cultivate a positive mindset. Decision making. So I was all over the map with this decision making. And so I came up with these items, and they're your basic boilerplate stuff, right? Identify the problem, Come up with your alternatives to the problem. Evaluate the options and choose the best one, then go implement. Now, one of the practices I've learned when in a technical world, people tend to love to argue about the most minute part or piece. It doesn't matter. When we're going back and forth with each other, that's the argument, right? That's where I'm against you, I'm against you, I'm against you, I'm against you. And I decided, you know what, I'm going to put it on the board. And I put a dot. And I go, what's that? I said, that's the problem. Focus on the dot. Once I got people recognizing to look at the dot, all of a sudden they're not arguing with you, they're not arguing with you, they're not arguing with you. They're looking at the dot and solving the problem. And then once you go, what is the problem statement? Most people can identify their problem statement in decision making. This is for decision making to solve a problem. I'm not talking about what's here right here. Problem solving, you have to define what the problem is. If you can't define the problem, you cannot find the solution. Many people will have a lot of anecdotal information that goes to that, but agree on what the problem is. Then you ask the question, is there a standard? If there is a standard, who's the expert? It could be Jennifer. Jennifer, we're talking about, Jennifer knows all about it. Jennifer, what's the standard? Jennifer states it, done deal. Now we work on the resolution and implementation. Go find that person who has the answer. And if you don't have that person, make the assignment, trust them to go get it, get the information and bring it back. Decision making can be easy. It's stressful, but it can be easy. The other part is you can change a decision. Most people don't want to have this conversation, especially with one-on-ones. They don't recognize that you can go change it. You can always go back to what you were doing. I'm coaching a young lady. She was making career changes, and she was fretting and leaving a very successful, very lucrative, very stable job, but she just was not happy. Wasn't being challenged. Everything in her, she was checking all the boxes. Well, this opportunity over here, you're going to complete chaos if you want that roller coaster ride. But every day you're going to be challenged, and every day you're going to have fun, guaranteed, because I'm doing it right now because I'm working for the same firm. I said, trust me, just buckle yourself in and go. I said, the worst case is you go back to what you were doing. Take that off the table. You can go back to the old world. There is not one person in the nuclear industry, that's where my genesis is from, would not accept you back. Are you kidding me? She's killing it now. She knows that's her fallback. She knows she can go back to that. So she established her safety net, but now she's just climbing. So 3 things to keep private. These are, again, my mom taught me these things about keeping your mouth shut. Well, these are it. People don't need to know how much money you make. They make assumptions about your lifestyle and spending habits. It's inherent with human nature. It's inherent. If you pull up in a new car and they go, well, how do they afford that? Well, you get a new boat. Well, how'd they afford that? Or you get a new car or whatever. It's whatever it is. People will constantly just look at you and look at your lifestyle and your spending habits. People will treat you differently based on the perceptions of your financial situation. Focus on building strong relationships based on mutual respect and connection. So keep money out of it. If you're going to go to the VFW and talk about what's going on in the world, keep it there. Don't tell them how much you make. Don't tell them how much you made in the stock market. You don't need to tell them anything. Sharing too much information about yourself can make yourself vulnerable. Because you never know who's out there waiting to cherry pick, jump, or disrupt your life. Share how much you make can make the others feel uncomfortable. Sharing how much you could make, sharing how much you could make you a target of unwanted attention. That should not be how much you make, but what you're doing in your personal life. You don't want to share your personal life, especially if you are a person who may be single. Some people may take that as a wrong thought. Some people might unintentionally interpret it to be something different in a meaning. So just keep your personal life to yourself, keep your finances to yourself, or what your next move is. Keep it to yourself. Unless you absolutely 100% trust those people. All right, things you should do every day. So we're getting into this conversation with people. They don't know how to start. That's when you need to start with laughing at yourself. Once you can learn to laugh at yourself, you can enjoy life, man. I'm telling you what. Once I recognize I got a big head and I'm bald and I don't care if anybody calls me out on it, like, all right, it's already done. I already did that to myself this morning. I already self-deprecated. I'm good. So just move on. So learn to laugh at yourself a little bit and exercise. And I'm not saying you got to go out there and exercise like a Spartan. But move. Get up and do something. Motion creates emotion. Endorphins are building. So laughter. Laughter is known to have many physical and mental health benefits. When you laugh, your body releases endorphins, which are natural painkillers. Endorphins also promote a sense of well-being and relaxes the body. Laughter is known to show the boost of the immune system, lower blood pressure, and reduce the risk of heart disease. Laughter can relieve tension and stress. Laughter is contagious and can promote bonding and connection among individuals. So laughter and humor are kind of a balanced thing. So my wife, who passed away a few years ago, she used to tell me, not everybody thinks you're funny. And I thought I was hilarious, right? She goes, sometimes, you just need to learn to keep your mouth shut and balance it. So she gave me a standard rule that if you have to think twice about saying it, don't say it. So when I usually, being from a family I was from, it was routine to make fun of each other. It was routine to insult each other. It was routine just to go at each other. So now, even though my brothers, as we're getting older, we tend to back off on that. Because again, if you have to think twice about it, just don't say it. Exercise is also known to have benefits for your physical and mental health. Regular exercise can improve cardiovascular health, muscle strength, flexibility, and balance. It also releases endorphins. Again, laughter and exercise combined. Exercise can show to improve cognitive function, memory, and attention. It's shown to improve cognitive memory and attention. Obviously, I did not proofread that correctly when I did it the first time. That would not have been there. So I'll have to make a adjustment to that. Okay, lesson 5. Some people don't understand this when I put this up, but I think this is critical. Whether you pray, whether you meditate, or whether you reflect, you need to start your day out like that. You need to wake up in the morning and recognize how you're going to start your day. Reflect on what you did yesterday. Reflect on what you're going to build today. If you need to, write it down, make a note to yourself, but reflect, pray, meditate. I pray, right? Some people don't believe in power prayer. That's fine. Some people don't believe in meditation. Everybody can believe in reflection. Reflection is not tied to any spiritual need. It's just reflecting on how you performed yesterday and how you can be better today and how it's going to carry over to tomorrow. So reflection is huge. Starting your day with prayer, reflection, meditation is a powerful way to stimulate your well-being and increase productivity. People ask for proof of that. And I'm like, well, it's almost like setting goals for yourself. When you write your goals down, so whether you do it in the reflective mode, the meditation mode, or the prayer mode, you're going to achieve them. Guaranteed, you're going to write it down. You're going to get them done. It may not be tomorrow, it may not today or tomorrow, but you're going to get them done. By taking a few minutes each morning to connect with yourself and your spirituality, you set the tone for the day and gain mental clarity and focus. Starting your day with prayer, reflection, meditation increases your sense of purpose and meaning. A lot of people don't have a purpose. Now, people in this room who have purpose. There's a lot of people out there who do not have a purpose. Some of them work to make a living, and that's fine. But they need to have something outside of that their third passion, their purpose is not work. Some people run, some people work out, some people dance, some people sing, some people volunteer, some people do anything that's outside of their work. That may not be their passion or purpose, but find that. Prayer can have physical benefits. Studies have shown that people who pray regularly have lower blood pressure, stress, and improved immune function. So of the 5 lessons, this is the 5th lesson, 3 of them have tied to lower blood pressure, less stress, and improved your health. So when I was putting this together, I was looking to stack it. How do I stack these lessons so at the end, every one of them feeds the other? So they're independently dependent upon each other. Just like a relationship. You're independently dependent on the people who you're with. Same thing with these lessons. As you go through here, the 5 of them are geared to helping you bring your stress down, increase your happiness, and increase your mental health. Okay, dreams versus goals. Now this, on my other slides, is almost 20 minutes, but I condensed it down to these. Dreams and goals independently support each other. From dreams, you get goals are created. Dreams create a vision. I don't know of anybody in history who has had a goal that didn't start out with a dream. You have to come up with some imagination of doing something that's going to be different. It's not sitting down going, I'm going to establish a goal today. Most of the inspiration comes from you sitting around, looking at the skies, riding your bike, reading a book, doing something, and it comes to you. Right? You use your imagination. You allowed your brain to talk to the left side, the right side talk to the left side, and you go back and forth. You didn't rationalize. You just dreamt about it. Like when I started dreaming about this, I started talking about doing these presentations back in 96, 97. I did them for a while. Then it had an impact on my family life. Because I was working 12-hour days, doing seminars, traveling up and down the state, traveling around the country, coming home, and my 5-year-old son going, where is he going tonight? I would come home, take my work boots off, throw a jacket and tie on. My son go, where are you going tonight? So I decided I'm not going to do it until my kids are grown. So I had also dreams and goals. I had plenty of opportunities to work overseas. This was a funny one because, again, my wife, we're sitting at dinner with the powers of nuclear power for EDF and Tokyo Power and Light. We're over in Paris, we're on a boat at dinner, and I'm just having a good time with my kids. I was over there to give a talk to the National Outage Forum, which is a whole nother story, but we'll get to that in a minute. And my wife says to me, you're being courted. I'm like, look, get out of here. It's that boy from South Jersey. So she's sitting there telling me that people from Tokyo Power and Light, they want you to come to work in Japan. I'm like, no, give me another glass of wine. So halfway through the meeting, this guy named Jerry says, Matt, they're really interested in bringing you on board there. I'm like, I looked at my wife, I said, no, I don't make this business decisions when I'm drinking. However, so my goals completely changed in that moment of what I was doing to what I could be. And that was someone else's dream for me that I didn't even think about, right? Dreams require imagination, goals require commitment. So we all dream about being fit like a Spartan, but it requires commitment to set the goals to go do it. Are you going to control your diet? You're going to get up in the morning and work out. You're going to go to the gym in the evening. Whatever you're going to do to control your health and fitness. So dreams are easy. Goals are hard. Because stuff happens in life that changes your goals. Stuff will happen tomorrow. Your car breaks down. Your truck breaks down. Somebody gets sick in your life. You have some fall and you hurt yourself. Goals get pushed out for some reason. Life changes. It doesn't change your imagination. It changes how your goal and commitment to it. Goals have focus. Dreams can drift and change. Goals require planning. Goals require action. Goals require measurables. And these last three tie together. Once you set your plan and then you set your action, how many people set up their measurables? You want to lose, I'll use weight loss. This seems to be the easy one. I want to lose 35 pounds. By when? How many pounds per week? How many calories a day you're going to burn? How many calories a day you're going to keep from yourself? You got to have the measurable. So when you're laying out that plan, so you work it out, December you want to be down 35 pounds. Anybody do any project management work? I'm sure you're familiar with this concept. Set the goal, work it backwards. Same thing, right? Set the goal, work it backwards. You got to have your measurables in place to make sure you're on track to meet that end goal. So I don't care if you're planning to put a water line in, build a power plant, lose weight, quit smoking, whatever. Set it out there, work it backwards, measure, monitor, adjust, and control. Finding your it. Finding your it, translation is finding your passion, finding your purpose. With this, it's just 2 letters, right? 2 little letters, it. Just do it. Find it. She has it. He's got it. How many times have you heard that on people on sports and life? Oh, they get it, man. They absolutely get it. What does it mean? What does it really mean? That means it's 2 letters out there. I think it's a pronoun. Yeah, it's a pronoun. She gets it. Where is it? When will it get here? What is it? 2 phrases. So what I'm going to help you find is find your it, feel your it, and form your it. Now, you ready to go do this? Because this is going to be taking some time. I want to unlock your mind. People have difficulty with this exercise. I was doing it with a young man who had just graduated college, pretty progressive. I asked him to write down, if time and money were not an issue, what do you want to get done in your lifetime? Guess how many things he came up with? 4. I'm like, what? You are 24 years old and you can only come up with 4 things if time and money were not an issue? Are you kidding me? Time and money, Lamborghini, top of my list. Ferrari, top of my list. Trip to Paris, trip around the Mediterranean. You got to unlock your mind. We are so trained to not unlock our mind. We are so trained to stay within the boxes. We are so trained to stay within the rails that we can't even allow ourselves the imagination to go outside of it because somebody set the boundaries for us. Yes, I will get back to the boundaries because that's when we get into the planning phase. But you don't even know what you can achieve or what you can't achieve because you already set your limitations on yourself. You already established, I can't do that. I can't afford that. I'm telling you, once you manifest it, once you set it in place, you will find a way. Guaranteed you'll find a way. Don't know how? This is the faith part. You don't even know what's going to come in front of you. When I gave this talk back in September, lady called me in November. She goes, it happened. Now, I'm telling you, her resources, none. No resources. But she wanted to take a cruise on the Mediterranean, 14-day cruise around. She called me up and said, it's happening. I said, how'd that happen? She says, well, my sister's husband passed away, and they already had this book. I'm going with her. I said, now, you got there in a twisted kind of way, but it happened. She set her mind. Now that she set the goal for it, she was going to get there at some point or another. But the point is, she got there by thinking that she can get there sometime. Now, her sister was blessed to have the resources to take her with it, but it happened, right? You don't know when. You set the goal, you set your imagination when things are going to turn, and it will happen. It may not be happening tomorrow. It may not happen next week. Again, we were talking about faith, and I'm talking about God. Sometimes it is on God's time. You can set the path, but it is on God's time when it happens. But you have to be ready when the time comes. If you don't prepare, and the sign comes and you're not ready to go, shame on you. Shame on you. So as we go through this exercise, this is where we dream. I want you to dream a little bit, whether it's in your business, in your personal life. No thinking, no critical thinking, no rationalization. Do not try to solve world hunger. Say it with me. Do not try to solve world hunger. Okay? One young lady, I did up in September. She wanted to end domestic violence. I said, it's great. I said, how are you going to do that? How are you going to do that? I said, I'm not here to kill your dreams and kill your passion. I said, you came from a situation. So we reworked it. I said, let's just assume you're not going to stop domestic violence. Have you decided to ever get on committee? To run for office? Go take classes on how to set public policy? Volunteer for a place that has a place for abused parents, or abused children, abused women? No. I said, let's start with something that you can manage, that you can control, that you can have a direct impact. Everybody wants to end domestic violence. Everybody wants to end gun violence. Nobody in the world would argue that. But how you go about it and what you can control. So I don't want you to think that those things are not noble, but this exercise is all about you. It's all about you, your imagination. Get your dreams on paper, and then we're going to work through it. Okay. So I wrap this up with, it's okay. The world is a tough place. The internet has images of how you're supposed to be this perfect person. And if you're not this perfect person, they knock you down. Right? The world is too tough for us not to be kind. It's okay to be mindful of our words and our actions. It's okay to say nothing. Unsolicited criticism is not always needed. Sometimes if it's not going to do any good, keep it to yourself. Think of it like this. If you are going to say that, what is the goal that you want that person to be convinced to go do? Are those words going to do that? If the answer is no, then keep it to yourself. Keep it to yourself. If you can't be kind, be silent. It's okay to laugh. It's okay to cry. It's okay to be kind. It's okay to pray. It's okay to pause. Pause means it's okay. I need to go out, sit in my car for a little bit to get my head right. It's okay to go sit at the park bench and just watch the birds go by. It's okay just to go watch the water go back and forth. It's okay. Pausing is okay. Pausing is healthy. Pausing helps you get in touch with yourself. It's okay to love. It's okay to improve yourself. So many people do not value that. It's okay to improve. Whatever that improvement is, be okay with it. And you don't have to share it. Most of the time we share with people, I'm going to start working out tomorrow and I'm going to lose weight. And 3 weeks later, Matt, you're still fat and you haven't worked out. Right? I'm not telling you anymore. So I will be at the gym tomorrow morning. So I don't share that with anybody anymore. That's my business. That's my business. It's okay to be nice. It's okay to be nice. It's okay to compliment someone. I know in these times it's hard to compliment somebody because whatever boundaries are that people make up, it's okay. It's okay to compliment someone. Do it in a way that's respectful and not leading and not, silly, but it's okay. It's okay to show respect. Oh my God, show respect, please. Young people need to be taught this. Your children will have such an advantage over any other child in the world. You teach them respect. It's okay to compliment someone. We talked about it's okay to spread positivity. It's okay to help others. It's okay to forgive. It's okay to forgive. And it's okay to forgive yourself. You will make mistakes. You have made mistakes. This is talking about coming to peace with your past. It's okay. You're not perfect. You weren't born to be perfect. We're human. We are designed to be, we are flawed individuals. Our goal is to make ourselves better each day. So forgive others and forgive yourself, and don't put such a high expectation on others that you wouldn't hold for yourself. And I know that sounds cliche, but think about it for a second. If you're going to hold someone else to an expectation that you're not going to do for yourself, don't hold that expectation. Because it's not fair to you, and it's not fair to them. It's okay to be you. Can't be me, it's already taken. Can't be you, it's already taken. Be okay with it. There was a design of who you are and why who you are. If you believe in God and your faith in God, God put you here for a reason. He didn't want two Matt Hasslers out there. Thank God for that. Right? Be okay with yourself. Society has become a challenging place. We should never forget that it's okay to share a little luck, a little love, understanding, caring, and kindness.